What's up? Welcome to the Stat Guy Show, episode number 53. Joining me tonight is your current invitational points leader, Mr. Damon Merchant. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. You actually cut out a little bit there. Couldn't hear you for a second.
Doing good. Doing good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it sounds good. So what's up, man? So we got a little break here. We got to reschedule the Texas race after your 7 weeks racing in a row. Are you happy to be off for a little bit?
I've got to say that I am. Be honest. As much as I wanted to get this kind of over with and get it done, this week comes to a blessing for us. Just how hard we've been racing, how much we've been traveling, the back and forth for me, and then keeping the rig and the car and everything on the road. It's been grueling, to say the least.
Yeah, and you're not. I mean, you're like some of the guys, but you actually don't get to travel from race spot to race spot and race. You actually got to come home and work during the week. So talk about that traveling. You said you travel for work too. So you're just constantly driving.
Yeah, like at the first of the season, there was no races that we hit that we really stayed out, other than I took a week of vacation between the Pennsylvania and the first two races, Ohio and where'd we go after that? Wasn't Kentucky?
No.
Virginia.
I should know this.
Yeah, I did. I took a week of vacation. I stayed out there that way, and then ever since then it's been back and forth, like race after race. So a lot of traveling all day, driving Sunday to get home, go to work on Monday, and sometimes every other week or so I got to drive down to Odessa, stay there the week, then I come back, we jump in the truck Thursday, and then haul ass to the next race. So to say it's been grueling is putting it lightly.
I can only imagine, man. So you got 2 weeks here till the Texas race. What are your plans with the car? You going to change anything? You just going to freshen some things up? You can do any testing? What are your plans?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I hadn't told too many people, but here's the place to do it or whatever. But we hurt the car. Probably third round, we started seeing a lot of oil on the plug. So we started having to kind of patch a hole. In the finals, you can see a big smokestack come out of the passenger bank, and we made the decision just to load it up and send it, against Ryan in the finals there. And what a drag race it was, man. So I needed the time to really go through that thing. It's no secret that we don't have a lot of spare parts, or spare engine or spare tranny or anything. So taking the time to really thoroughly go over everything on the car, pretty much every race. Mark does a good job. Mark and Craig actually together do a good job of going front to back on that thing. I'm a big believer in preventative maintenance, so we've done a hell of a job all season long to make it as far as we have with what we've got, to be honest, because I see a lot of people messing up a lot of shit out there. And then we also had so many people telling us that we wouldn't be able to race the season like this, but here we are, and making them eat their words right now.
Yeah, for sure. I want to give a big F you to Richard Rowe quickly. Let's talk about. I want to get. What's that?
I said he sent me some good ones today. I had a little cowboy come by the pits, and he just happened to be walking by, so we put him in the car, and then Richard seen that and came over and took some good pictures. So appreciate that, dude.
He takes the best. So let's talk about last time I had you on the show, Dana. It was the second race. It was just after the second race. You had just lost to Kai in the finals, and since then we've seen quite the evolution of you as a person, how you've been racing, your accomplishments. You pretty much, to this point, you could be labeled as the guy to beat on Saturdays in the Invitational. You're the current points leader in the Invitational, and you're up by quite a bit going into Texas. Did you imagine you would be where you're at right now when we talked after race number 2?
No, to be honest, no. I mean, these guys have been doing it so long, and to be honest, I was asked by the man, the guy, Sam, at the first of the year, whether I could be a top 10 kind of guy or not. I don't really like blowing smoke up people's asses, but I told him I had no idea. These guys have been doing this stuff for 6 seasons or 5 seasons at that point, and we brought the car off the street. A lot of people have purpose-built cars by now. They've ran through those older cars, and I couldn't straight up just tell him that I could be. So, are you trying to touch my face?
No, you're good. I'm just adjusting something right now.
So no, I couldn't give him a straight up answer that we were going to be a top 10 guy coming into this thing. After you talked to me when we were in Virginia, it was kind of my mission then to just prove to everybody that wasn't a fluke, and prove to ourselves that it wasn't something that just happened. We beat a lot of hitters that race, and then we just continue to do the same after that. It's like every time, I said this the other night, every time that we find ourselves in the finals or semifinals, whatever it may be, like it's been a murderer's row of who we had to go through to get there. Just like Galat, it was Ryan's whole team, and it's arguably the most stacked team out there right now. And other than the Bruder brothers, we raced everybody on that team. It was like a damn real life Mario game all of a sudden. So it makes me feel good that we can step up at any point in time. We've done it all season long, and it wasn't just we were good at the first of the season, but that was my whole thing going into the break, is not get complacent. Keep our head up and just keep going round by round, kicking ass. And that was the game plan, and feel like we've executed on that.
Yeah, you've definitely been kicking ass from race number 2 till now, man. You've been so consistent. When I say the guy to beat, and you consider the guy to beat on Saturdays, how do you like that role? How do you like hearing that? Because it wasn't that long ago you were the new guy in the 405, the quiet guy. You know what I mean? Nobody knew. Yeah, you got thrown in right in the qualifying for America's list, like you just were thrown to the fire right there. And now you're the guy to beat on Saturdays. How are you accepting that role? How's that come to you?
I think the way that we came into this deal has conditioned us well into where we're at right now. Learning how to step your game up, racing these guys. I've gave them all the praise in the world, racing the guys in the 405, because if it wasn't for those ass kickings that I took week after week, on national TV, like you got to have pretty thick skin to do something like that, and not look at it like, not get down on yourself or down on your team about something, but use it for fuel to push yourself into it, push yourself into that, that pressure of performing when it's big time, and when it's time to race these guys again, especially in front of the crowds that we're in, or crowds that we're in front of, or all the TV and cameras and stuff. I think starting out with the 405 guys at Okima, racing through Okima, where everybody's fast as hell, I took my lumps and learned from them. So I don't let the pressure really get to me. Saturday night is the big race. You don't want to let your team down. You don't want to let your crew down, and you want to perform well. And that's just the role that we kind of worked our way into coming into this deal. We wasn't a high draft pick, but I just use that, like I said, I don't get down about it and didn't get pissed off or cry about it. We just, okay, now it's showtime, and let's I don't give a shit what draft or what round we were picked in the draft or anything. I'm gonna show up and race anybody on whatever day it is. So it's just with the new car and traveling's been the biggest thing in all this. At one time you might be in 4,000 feet of air, and then you go somewhere and you're in 1,000 feet, and conditions change so much. With the car that we're using with Rogue, the way we had it set up before, and I talked about what we changed last time. Brando Speed and them and Shane and them did a phenomenal job getting the car, giving us a car, making the changes to it where we could do what we got to do between Mark, Craig, and I to make it compete on a fast track. And to be honest, coming into this thing, I thought we would shine at the lesser tracks. You know what I mean? And it's like that thing all of a sudden loves a sticky track because we've done the Wichita Falls races where there's dirt blowing off the round, the circle track across the road, or the Odessa where it's out in the desert. Like we did those races and performed really well. So now you put us on a really good track. I kind of worried about that a little bit, but man, she shines on a good track, and we've proven that time after time. All of a sudden, and it feels good to be able to do that.
Yeah, man, you've been proving that week in and week out this whole season since the beginning. And to continue with this evolution of Damon theme, so I've seen you have opened up more on social media, probably since the last time I talked to you too, and you're getting more comfortable with that. Probably owe Russell a nod to that, but and there's shit talking, right? So a lot of guys like to shit talk, and it's a form, like it's an art form to some people. I want to know how you have got into the shit talking game, especially online, and kept everybody loving you at the same time. How does that work? Because usually those two things don't go together. But I don't see a hater out there of you, Damon. Not one, man.
To be honest, I don't jump on anything that I never really been one to start shit, but I've also never been one to like take it or watch somebody else get bullied or something like that, So, when they start dishing it out, I mean, we're loaded for bear with Russell around for sure. I mean, I give him an idea and that dude takes off with it, and he is just like the one with Justin and his pickup missing. I felt terrible for that dude, and especially once I learned all the parts were in it. But I was driving down the road on my way to Colorado at like 2 a.m. and I texted him, and he just got his nuts clipped and told me, hey, if you want to talk, I can't sleep, so whatever. And I thought, man, can you make a meme? I know you're hurting, but can you do this dude where's my car deal? And he did it, and holy shit, it blew up. So it's all in fun. I've got thick skin. I grew up in my dad's shop, so these guys that kind of pity patter around with shit talking, it don't bother me any. I grew up in like I said, my dad's 3 baker shop with all of his buddies around drinking and hanging out and shit all the time. A football locker room, and then the oil field and stuff. So there's not too much being said that really gets in my feelings very much, but I do see it getting other people's feelings. Holy shit! So.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Wow.
Definitely. I think that's why it's so funny, man, because you could tell you're just playful with it. You know what I mean? I think that's why it works.
And if we can't have fun out here doing what we're doing and trying to entertain everybody, and because that's the way it is. Like we all want to race, we all want to win, but we're also entertaining a bunch of people. So, it's one of them things where, if somebody takes a shot at you, you just either retaliate or you just tuck and take it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and sometimes it's all right to take it too. Sometimes it's all right to laugh. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're good when they're coming from the other way. So it's actually good. But let's get into the championship. Let's talk this team championship that's on the horizon. So you got one race left, man, for everything. And you are on Kyle Kelly's team. And guys are up by 1 round. There's a double points now, 1 round. So how are you and your team preparing to win this championship in 2 weeks?
Well, I feel like right now I'm prepared very well, and I've got a captain that needs to get, I don't know what he's been sandbagging or jackassing around, but when I came over here, we had a healthy lead, and he's taking it on his own to exit out first round a few races in a row right now. So I don't know if Kyle Watson is there anything Kyle pop up here yet, bro. I hope you're out testing or call me and I'll drive that some bitch for you. Something I don't know. Lordy. But anyway, no. Me and him have found a mutual respect for one another. through all this racing. Because to be honest, let me go back and I'll tell you, which did I say it last time about the testing? Or I might have not brought it up. He rented Tulsa before the season ever started, and I needed a test, and Chuck messaged me, and we were set up. Do you want to test with Kai? Hell yeah, I need to test. We just got the car back together. I need to do something. And Kai wouldn't let me on it. I said something about how ugly his car was, and he got in his feelings, and wouldn't let me test my car. So I had to wait like an extra 3 days because he was hogging it, and then we found ourselves in the finals with him a few times and just chit chatting back and forth. And, we found a good mutual respect for one another and kind of come from the same background. So it was a good fit for us. I thought that they had a pretty solid lead on it at that time. And me and Nate had went a lot of rounds on Bodie's team, but, one team wanted him, one team wanted me, and we had a split and find ourselves on different teams. But I'm liking it. It's those guys are pretty cool. Like David Gates and his crew and Kai and his crew are pretty much just like the dudes I grew up with. Fishing and around acting like a bunch of knuckleheads and stuff. So I kind of fit right into that deal.
Let's talk about that trade. How did you get did you get approached? Say, hey, did Bodie approach you? Did Kai approach you? Did anybody say, hey, do you want to get traded? We're gonna trade you.
Well, about 3 weeks before that, I want to say, like I got wind that there was going to be some power moves made to make some power teams. The problem with Bodie's team was, he was having trouble. Bowman has had a hot rod all season, but it's just been a little inconsistent, and he's been trying to get things moving in the right direction. Well, that thing's fast. It's just one little thing was biting him after another, and he couldn't get in. Bodie couldn't get in. So it was like first round, we were just getting 30 points every round, where other people were getting 40 to 50. Well, after 10 races, you're a stat guy. That's 100 points or more. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
We were just losing ground. We had second place locked down in that thing for a while, but after so long, you just start losing ground to these teams that are getting 4 to 5 in. And Kai said something to me about gonna be some power teams made and moves, and I would really like to have you if I get the chance. If you want to come over or I get the chance, I'd like to get you because you've raced too hard and done too well all season. Not to get something in the end, and we felt like he had a good chance. I talked to Dave a little bit, and we went back and forth. I talked to my team, and in the end, we ended up on Kai's. And to be honest, it was just one of them deals where once we looked everything over, we knew that Kai probably had the better chance of holding off Ryan. By then, Ryan's stacked, and he's got his shit together, and he's hauling ass, and look at the movies, mate. He's went from like 26th place to number 3 right now. So good Lord. How do you? Oh, the only person to do that is Ryan Martin, I guess. So
pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
So and I'll even go back a little bit further on that. Whenever we set out to do this, and like I said, Sam asked me if I'm gonna be a top 10 guy. I said I don't know. I told my people, let's just do the first 3 and kind of see where we're at. And so when Bodie asked me, I was like, yeah, I'll come to all of them, because that seemed like the question everybody was getting asked. And
everybody, yeah.
At that time, it wasn't that I was lying. It was just I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna make it happen.
Right.
So I'm telling you right now, whenever I said, yeah, I can make them all, Russell and Greg start texting me, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And I said, well, all right, guys, we're in. So we go to the finals. There's money in those races. And from the start, I race and my team race for survival. And what I mean by that is if I don't make money at these races, say a split or whatever the case may be, or a win, I ain't got the money to do this shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it just turned into one of them things that we've done. I found myself in the semifinals at every race before Tulsa, right? Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes there's a lot of splits there to be made, and we were just running off the money that we were winning. And you
Yeah.
know, apparel's been okay, and kind of hit and miss in some places, but any dime that I can make to do this and move ahead to the next race and the next race. So then I started kind of planning them out by threes. Oh, we kept doing pretty good. So it's just one of
Mhm.
them things that we kind of fell into and stuck with because of that.
Right.
So anyway, we get into this trade and everything. I felt like it was a good fit. I felt like it was uh, something we can win with and make money doing. Ryan's going to be, once he started charging forward,
Mhm.
you know, once Ryan got his shit figured out, he's going to help his team get shit figured out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
motivation is contagious, or you know what I mean? They feed off each
Yeah.
other.
Yep.
So, you know, when I did get picked up after Kai talked to me about it, I talked to Ryan or not Ryan, Dave a little bit. We made that choice, and what was crazy is I just come off of 2 first-round losses. You know what I mean? We were having some
Mhm.
transmission problems. So, to be honest, I was kind of surprised that he still picked us up, but he still was having trouble too, and Lizzie was
Mhm.
on kind of a downturn. So, once we kind of picked things back up in Martin, and I think and Kai went to the finals, I felt
Yep.
like it was there was a lot of momentum being built up in that Kai Kelly team, and you know, it's just been one of them things where uh, trying to work together, trying to feed off each other, and get this thing headed in the right direction. We're just now we're just 1 round ahead of Ryan and them. So to say it's kind of scary is actually it's pretty terrifying that he's got within 1 round of us right now. So
Yeah.
this break has been very helpful. Hopefully we can do some big things and get the whole group headed in the right direction. We got Kalon now, and Gates is running really good. Lizzie is running. You know, I mean, she
Oh
whooped
yeah.
my ass in the final or in the first round of grade 8. She gave Ryan a hell of a race,
Whew.
in
Yeah.
invitational. So, you know, Pat and them's got that thing set up good. So I'm excited. To be honest, like when I lost the other night in the finals to Ryan, it's hard to get down about something like that because it's so exciting. Um,
Yeah. Right. Right.
you just
Yeah, man. That's a big accomplishment right there.
I'm never
Right.
happy about losing, but to lose to him at Steel, Alabama, where he tests a lot there. I wish I could test there before we ever went, but that was our first time to ever be on that track. Pretty much all but Tulsa will be our first time on any of it. No, Ohio. I've been to Ohio before, and Kentucky. Okay, so yeah, Kentucky, Ohio, and Tulsa we've been on
Awesome.
before, but not with this engine combination. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. And now that obviously we've seen this team stuff and the draft and everything was new to Street Outlaws, No More Kings this year. Obviously the trades, bringing guys up, putting guys down is all brand new. And then we saw the trades, you in particular and Nate get traded for another guy plus $10,000. And it was kind of there was a lot of stuff online about it, right? It's kind of like bringing the money aspect into it, and being a sports guy my whole life, like I know that that's always happens in trades.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it in the public about NFL or NBA trades, but there's always money involved. Like guys always get traded for money. So
Or
I didn't think it was too big of
positions,
a deal. What's that?
or positions like in a draft or something. You know, I
Right,
want your first
exactly.
round draft pick
So
next year.
how did it feel to get traded to know you're worth 10 grand towards this another guy plus 10 grand, right?
I mean, if you know Bodie is a hustler. He's his whole mentality is money, and which is smart to me. To be honest, like none of us um, want to lose money at doing this, and you know he's you know I I got to say nothing but thank you to him for picking me. You know, I thought I was
Hmm.
going to get picked earlier in that 3rd round, it didn't happen. And he picked me up, took a chance on me, you know, and lo and behold, we were kind of a diamond in the rough that none of us really knew about. And you know, he's always had our back. He's always been in our corner. Even when I raced Bodie Jr., he's standing behind my car. Hell, he owns that one. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he was a good cat. He's a good captain, I'll tell you. But it was one of them deals where I kind of seen it coming. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know who it was going to happen to with. And also, he kind of let me have my word and my say so in it as well. And I talked to my team, see what they wanted to do. They've been traveling with me, put just as much work
Right.
in, and I owed it to them to kind of see where we wanted to go. And so we kind of knew. And like I said, I had talked to Kai a little bit before that. Not saying that I didn't talk to Dave, but I talked to Kai a little bit before it. But you know, it's just one of them deals. It wasn't weird at all, to be honest. I tell you, like parking with them is weirder than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say, because I know normally, right? Because I'm sure you built quite the relationship with Nate Saylor, because you guys we're always on the same team. You guys park together,
race
and now
together.
both you got traded
Yeah,
at the same time.
yeah,
So yeah, is that weird parking different now?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I'll tell you who helped me. Bobby and Bowman, they helped me a lot with like getting there late. Well, they would already help me have my camper parked or whatever, because I rent a camper in the area and have it delivered to the track, and they always helped me
Okay.
with that. Like, just never turned me down if I needed anything or something. So you build that like camaraderie with those teammates, and then all of a sudden you're just
Mhm.
gone, and it's like, you know, as far as we park and how busy we are, it's like you don't ever see them anymore. I seen Bowman at Fuel Tech the other day, and it's like I hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks, but he's just right in the row. So he's just shooting the shit and try to catch up with each other all of a sudden.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's a fantastic dude, and I told him the other day, if I didn't think you before, I just really appreciate. I never did know him before, but I heard he's a great guy, but I didn't know him at
Mhm.
all. And man, what a good dude he is, and Bobby and his crew as well. So, um, it's just you build those bonds with those people, and then all of a sudden you're on a new team, so you got to build up new bonds, you know, and relationships and whatnot, because we got to work together. We have our team
Yeah.
meetings. I want them to kind of see where I'm coming from, and I want to hear where they're coming from as well. I've always been a team player. I've always played team sports, so
Mhm.
I wanted them to hear me, and I wanted to hear them, and what they had to say and where they were coming from on topics, or how the hell we're going to seal this deal or whatever. So I had
Mhm.
talked to Guy a little bit before, but I hadn't talked to David very much. The first time I ever talked to David Gates was in Las Vegas, and when we raced each
Mhm.
other. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really go snooping around a lot, you know, who people are or what they've got and all that shit in the pit areas. A lot of people have been racing together for a long time. I'm solely here to kind of focus on myself, my crew, my team, and get that white car down the track as fast as we can. That's what I'm there to do.
Yeah. What do you going into this finale? Like I said, you're up by one round, 20 points. What do you think is going to be the key? Do you think, I mean, because do you think it's maybe matchups, first round matchups? If you draw, hopefully you can draw not Ryan's team or not Dave's team, you know what I mean? To help that. Or do you want to draw their team early to get them out and start getting points ahead of them? Because if you look at it, it's probably going to take, just looking at the stats, it's probably going to take you or Ryan's team or Dave's team, like getting two guys to the semifinals and one guy, at least one person to the finals. That's probably what it's going to take to win the whole thing. So I don't know if you guys have talked about that as a team, realize that, you know what I mean? There's probably going to be some strategy involved, I would think. You know, you got to try to maximize the points as best you can.
Yeah, I look at it like I would like to build a strategy and do something, but once you start drawing out of that bucket, it all kind of goes downhill from
Goes
there
to shit.
a lot of times, because me and Lizzie have been really good about drawing each other's chips, whether there's 8 in the bucket or there's 32 in the bucket. Since I've gotten on this team, we've been really good about picking each other. So and then that happens, and then you're screwed. So, man, I really don't know. And I'd love to say that I would like to run through Ryan's team again and catch him. That'd be pretty historic, or whatever you want to call it. It'd be pretty badass. But I've got a lot of fast teammates, and anything can happen right now. The field is so close; it's insane.
Yeah.
You can't even draw one of the guys that are ranked 20th and be okay with it. Like, you better have your shit together and be able to get down that track faster than he can, because if you slip up, it's over. I've had a transmission that was acting up and bumping around, and pressure kind of everywhere, and the car makes a lick, but they just drive around you, or leave you sitting in the starting line or whatever. So there's really no luck's got to play a part in it. I'll tell you that right now. So, like I said, every time I've done really well, or went to the finals, or won it, or whatever, we've had a hard row of top 10 guys sitting in the lane next to us. So it would be crazy for me to say that I need to draw somebody lower. I mean, Rogue's going to do what she does, regardless of who's sitting in the other lane. I just don't want to draw another teammate, because that shit sucks.
Yeah. I think the first round draws it's going to tell a lot about what can happen the rest of that night. So it's a big time.
I'm not a big call out kind of person and stuff. I just like draw the book and whatnot. But I don't know.
Yeah, there hasn't been too many this year.
No. It seems like a lot of people are like pointing fingers and saying he's doing this or he's doing that, but the call outs have been very rare, and they just rather cry a lot of times than really race too much. So I don't know. Like I said this the other day, I'm new to this, so I'm just trying to figure it all out.
Right. I can tell you one thing, David, like you don't get flustered by pressure at all. I mean, you've been in so many finals now this year, and you've done so well. And to add even more pressure, have you thought about that this Texas race? You probably have more riding on the invitational part of it than maybe anybody else, because and I want you to get your thoughts about this, is if your team doesn't win the invitational team championship and you have the most points in the year, you don't win nothing for that.
Yeah. No, I realize that. But like I told my crew and my people, think of what that does for us, as far as what's the right word here, where we establish ourselves into this program, or establish ourselves into the series, because we came into this deal and nobody really knew we were going to do anything. There's been a lot of people come into this thing and not do shit with it, to be honest. And to be honest, starting out, there's a screenshot going around that I posted on my social media, that it asked at the end of the season who you thought was going to be the number one, and I posted my car and said this will be the number one car next season. And it got sent back to me by the guy that originally made the post, and I had totally forgot all about it. I mean, it's been a wild, crazy season, but I shared it and I backed up what we were going to say, or we backed up what I said. So to come into this last race knowing all that, it isn't going to change how I do anything, or how I've been racing all season. No, I don't really get flustered in the moment or whatever. It kind of looked like that at the first of the season, because every time I raced Kai in the finals, something stupid would happen, or we'd flub up somewhere or something. But it's never nerves or anything. I race best when we're just having fun and whatnot. If I'm being goofy and loose and all that jazz, you're probably going to have your hands full with me. If I'm stressed and not talking and all that shit, then we're probably, I'm probably having a different kind of day. But it really, like I said, it really ain't gonna change anything of what I do or what my team does. But yeah, we've got the record for the rookie deal coming up.
Mhm.
You know, we're close to that, which is awesome. I like we've been dubbed people's champ since probably what, second race, third race, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wear that with pride. That means a lot to me. I love our fans and our fan base, and it's where I came from, because not long ago I was taking Bryson to sit in the stands and watch these guys. Even though we raced, being from here, I've been around a lot of these guys for a long time, and I was that guy for a long while that had a car and just wasn't doing anything with it per se like this. So to be the people's champ at this point is huge for me. Like, I'll take that title any day.
Yeah, for sure, man. You talk about some of your accomplishments. Let's get into some of your accomplishments so far this season. Um, so currently in overall total round wins, you're second in total round wins right now. You're second in finals appearances, and you're tied for third in event wins. Have you met? Would you say you met most of your goals for the season already?
I'm not questioning you, but I thought I had the most in final appearances because I've had 5. I was looking at your stats.
Second, Kai's had 10. I'm overall with the grade
overall.
A and the in between.
Okay.
Yeah, overall.
I thought you meant
Yeah,
in
yeah.
So what was the question? Sorry.
I said you probably have met most of your goals already for the season, I would think, with those accomplishments.
I have surpassed any goal that I set at the first of the season. It was 1, getting drafted, 2, making the races, just showing up to the track. I mean, good God, that's a huge part of it right there that people don't understand. I mean, I can sit here and say it over and over and over, but just getting there is hard enough for us. I mean, and especially 8 in a row. I mean, people's rigs were breaking down, people were breaking down, the cars were getting fucking wore out. So thank God, I struck a relationship at the first of the year with Jay at Custom Trailer Sales, and we ordered that trailer back in December or January. Like, I needed the reason I was in Dave's or that flatbed that we took to Tulsa was because I wrecked my car trying to do some future races at Ennis last year. I wrecked it trying to shut down at Wichita Falls. So I'm testing at Wichita Falls for a race in Ennis. And in the shutdown, it started bouncing and I wrecked it. Well, I had to sell my trailer to come up with the money to fix the car. Then we get it to Ennis, and the very next pass, it does the same move. In the shutdown, I wreck it again. So, Dave was super cool, loaned me his trailer, loaned me his generator, and it got us going. But I struck a relationship with Jay at Custom Trailer Sales, and at the halfway point of the year, right after Tulsa, I think, or Idaho, that trailer showed up. And to be honest, I felt like Dave's trailer's been ran ragged, not by just me, but he's had it over the years. He's traveled a lot of miles in it. And we got that thing. Like I said before, preventative maintenance on the car to keep it up and going. When you have very little to do this, you got to make what you have last. And we've put together a hell of an engine combination with Gerald at Brand Racing Engines and Matt and them guys at MBE, and that thing has been rock solid. I can't say enough about the M&M transmission, because the one time that we did have it down, they rolled that sucker in and rolled it right out. And I'm working on some spare parts and some spare tranny and whatnot. The guys at Quick Performance got me hooked up with the third members, and we've been able to keep it alive with what little we got. So yeah, to be at this point where it's final race and everything, it's a win for us already. So to say, like, have we met those goals? Hell yeah, we met those goals and then some. And to be honest, once Sam asked me if I could be a top 10 guy, that was my goal. Let's see if we can be a top 10 guy. Let's see who we can outrun. And I had somewhat of a hit list coming into this deal, who I looked at as superior to the sport. and which one of those can we take out? Whose number do we have, and who has my number? And for a while, I felt like Kai did. And then we started kind of getting back at him a little bit. I think we went 2 in a row on him, and then another one in Vegas. So, okay, I got that monkey off my back. And then all of a sudden, now Ryan's kicking ass. And it was time to try to see if we could, outrun him. We beat him. We beat him at Galot, and then he comes back and runs us at Steele, Alabama, and edges us out. So, that's been kind of my biggest thing here lately, is seeing and understanding that we have done this with some longevity. We didn't just shine at the first of the year. We didn't just win a race and then all of a sudden we're out and nobody ever hears of us again. I like that target on my back. So it was one of them deals where I was like, let's just keep doing what we're doing and let them chase us. They can chase me for once. You know what I mean? So taking my ass whoopings. But I think the way we come up is what makes us stand out, to be honest.
Yeah. So speaking of standing out, so looking at your season so far, the whole season, Damon, you've been so consistent. Like looking at some of the other guys, the top guys in the points, they've struggled for 4 or 5 races at different parts of the season. But you have pretty much been pretty solid from beginning to end. There hasn't been a huge lull for you anywhere in there. Obviously, that's why you're leading in points. What do you owe to being so consistent week in and week out?
My crew. Yeah. Them doing what they do week after week, being dedicated, the preventative maintenance, not waiting until there's a big issue. Craig goes over that thing with a fine-tooth comb constantly. I mean, if it's some little something, he's going to point it out. And that's, huge for us. Mark, same way. Mark looks at the things that Craig don't. I've been running that car, 4 seasons now, and just no preps or street, and they've been with me, both of them, since day one. So they know how each other work. They know how I work and how I drive. And it's been that. Like, I don't bounce around with a bunch of different guys and also get wrapped up in what anybody else is doing out there. I kind of touched on that a while ago, like getting wrapped up in bullshit drama or rules or any of that. The fucking rules are black and white. They came out at the first of the year. You read them and then you go off of them. I didn't really pick a combination that was any different than what I had on the street, but I just made it, like I said before, bigger and better. And we knew how to do that. We knew how to work that combination. If I would have went Hemi, it would have been a whole new learning curve for us, other than what Joe knows from Hyperactive, because he helps us out a ton remotely. He hasn't made any races yet, but he's in our ear all the time and on the laptop. So it's those guys right there that's made the car so consistent and gave me a car to go out and race and win races. Turn on win lights. That's what it is. It's just the consistency of the crew doing what they do, like week after week.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, man. It shows up in the stat books, man. Like I said, we talked after race number 2, you were in the finals already, and here you've been in the last 2 finals. You know what I mean? You've been in finals between there, like basically every other week. You've been pretty much in the finals.
Yeah, we had 2. Man, we had some ECU trouble at Idaho and Colorado. Bam, bam. We went out 2 races in a row, back to back, first round. Then we kind of got it figured out. Where'd we go after Colorado?
Was it Vegas?
Okay, there you go, Vegas. We won Vegas.
Yep.
We finally won one, and we thought we had everything back. I just read Craig's comment. I haven't looked at comments yet, and I look over and I see Craig's name. Just having fun. That's another one. Like I told you all ago, if I'm being goofy and kind of just mind clear, we're gonna race good, or I'm gonna race good, and having fun. We talked about that the first of the year. I was like, we've gotten so stressed out on some of the street shit and on the street show just to do good, because it was kind of like I put pressure on myself and on them to perform so well that we just got to where we wasn't having fun, and we should have been having fun out there. And at the first of the year, me and Craig talked and Lacey, and it was like, fuck it, we don't know how it's going to go. Let's just make sure we have fun, you know? And sometimes I get wrapped up in the competitive nature of it. But other than that, having fun's been a big key for us. And just willing to, you know, just knowing that it could end at any time if something catastrophic happened or something like that. So why not enjoy the moment?
Right.
But yeah, that's been a big thing. Thanks, Craig. I seen that.
Shout out, Craig.
So what was your last question? I'm sorry. I just seen that and got sidetracked.
No, you answered it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I will say, like on a side note, it's cool to see, obviously, David, your small operation. Like you said, you've had Mark and Craig with you for the last 4 years. Like it's you guys have built that stuff together. You know what I mean? That camaraderie. Like you know each other by hand. Craig's not a professional tuner, correct?
Nope.
Right.
We got into this deal. I said, I'm gonna build this car. I've never drove anything like this. But if you're willing to learn how to tune it, whatever you want to call it, power manage, whatever, I'll drive it. If you can keep that monkey off my back and the stress of that, I'll figure out what I got to do so we can win together. And that's how this all started. And Mark's been, you know, he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of time under his belt where we don't. So he can go, hey, dipshits, you're not doing that right. And then we change how we do it. You know, if it's me driving or how Craig's doing something with the engine. And you know, he's been a saving grace for us when we're falling off, especially for me as far as a driver. Said it before, like if I go in too deep or something, he'll have my ass, and that's what I want. Criticism don't scare me any. I need and I want somebody to tell me that I'm fucking something up and I need to change it. Because if not, if you got a bunch of yes men around you, you'll never grow, to be honest. Like, you know as well as I do, if you got a bunch of people telling you you're doing great and that's how you keep doing it, you can keep getting your ass whooped. You're not performing well when you're sitting in the pits just signing autographs or selling t-shirts or something. That's not what I want to do.
Right. No, I got you, man. You guys are on a roll. And it all works. It all works. So I got some. This is the stat portion of my show now, Damon. I'll read out some stats. Some of these you might not know. You brought up the most career round wins, but there was I made a post about that. You were the other day. You're like 5 rounds away from having the most total round wins by any rookie. But someone commented in there and brought up a thing I never thought about, is that just for invitational. So I don't know if you knew this or not. You have the most invitational round wins by any rookie in No Prep Kings history.
Okay.
So you have 34 currently.
Right on.
Another stat is you are tied with Nate Saylor with 6 finals, 6 event finals, and that is a rookie record as well. No Prep Kings history rookie record. You and Nate are tied for 6. And then I have another stat for you that was pretty cool. If you win the Grade 8 or the Invitational in Texas, either one, that'll give you 4 event wins for this season. In the history of all No Prep Kings, rookies, non-rookies, anything, there's only 2 other people who ever won 4 events or more in a season, and that's Ryan Martin and Kai Kelly. So if you can win 4 events, man, you'll be right up there with the greats of No Prep Kings. So,
and I've got what, 3 now? I got 3 right now.
You got 3 right now. Yeah, if you can win 4, you'll be 3rd. Only the 3rd person ever to do that. So something to shoot for, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna debut a new portion of my show. I talked to you about it before we got on. A little new portion of the show called Hot Topics. All right. So it's just to spice the show up a little bit. It's basically going to be, I'm going to give you a couple questions based on some hot internet social media topics that are going around lately. The first thing I want to do is start with the big talk about the 136 ProCharger. I like your name tag there. I see you were
Yes,
prepared
sir.
for that. Yeah, that one. The big talk is that it has a huge advantage or a big advantage across all the other combinations. Guys were asking for it to be changed even before the season was over. Obviously, you've been running that combination the whole season. So, what are
No.
most of the season? Most of the season. So, what are your thoughts about that?
So when the season started, I had purchased a F3R 136. I had one, and I didn't get to talk about that with you because I talked to you after Virginia when
Yep.
Bowling Green came around. I broke the blower, and I can't remember, in a burnout or something, and I didn't have a spare. Well, I was in grade 8, and it was on my test pass, on my grade 8 test pass. Lo and behold, there's only 2 other guys out there running an F3 136. Neither one of them had spares. So I had to go purchase one from Scott Taylor, which had one in his trailer for whatever reason, because he's running at 140 or something. Probably for a sucker like me to break one and not have a backup. So he sold it to me. Like, I'll let you buy it. You can't use it, but I'll let you buy it. But no, I appreciate that, Scott. So I on the spot, I had to purchase another F3R 136. We accumulated a lot of points with that F3 136 all the way up to Colorado. I had heard about the other blower. I knew that it had a lot of good characteristics of the 140. But me running a big block heavy base motor, I'm not a big believer that bigger is better. I've proven that with the 121 over the 136s on a big block before. And so I kept the F3R 136 on as long as I could until we got to Colorado, which was a place where people don't make boost. I thought it would be the time to try it and change some things. We put it on the car. We ran like shit because we were having a lot of ECU problems, and the car wouldn't stay running. So I didn't get to see what the potential of it was. And we go to Idaho and kind of do the same thing, and then get it actually going in the right direction in Vegas. Did it pick the engine up there? Yes. It had about the same air as Tulsa, and I knew what we ran at Tulsa with the F3R. We won a grade 8 with it. Let me think here. I knew a lot of other people were using it and had it, and kind of started hearing rumblings about what it compared to as far as the 140. I do water pumps for my day job. I rent them out, and I've got 4-inch pumps and I've got 6-inch pumps. Well, it's volume is what it is. When you take a 12-inch housing and compare it to a 13.5-inch housing, you're going to produce more volume of air or water or whatever the hell you're pumping. And so I knew that it had a leg up from the F3R. I don't know how hard a lot of people spin those things, but I know how hard we spin ours. It does make more boost. It does supply more air. But as far as the controversy, whether it's legal or not legal, after reading the rules several times, going over everything, they talked about whether it was designed or developed after the rules were made, and that is absolutely false. I had to go back. I wanted to verify for myself. I don't want to do shit on hearsay. And it was designed a while back. It's just, as production goes, you know how hard it is to get things right now. They started pumping them out before MPK started. Some people had them, some people didn't, but they were in production. These heads that I got flow like crazy from MBE, and I wanted to try a set on there, and that old big block loves that 136. It would probably love a 140, but I got the car setting at weight and where it needs to be and where it works, and we stuck it on in Colorado, won Vegas, and I never looked back with it, and I don't intend to. I don't really. They talk a lot about how the rules got moved around from last season. what the screw blowers get, like 90 something to 90 something, as far as the percentages and stuff. I don't know a lot of shit about that. So you'll probably won't see me on there talking too much about people. But what I do know is I love my ProChargers, and anytime I can run a bigger and better one on there, I'm going to, as long as it stays within the rules. They've been trying to tax me for weight for having a skirted block. You know what I mean? So when they start barking and chirping about something else, it's almost like the boy cried wolf. I ain't gonna listen to it. I'm just gonna look at my program, see what I can do, and keep hauling ass and turn on wind lights. So as much as I want to say, I know this or I know that about how the rules are set up, I don't really. It's hard for me to put my input in. I'm just a rookie trying to get in here and do some things. So I just look at what the rules were and what they were set at and abide by them. I really don't know what anybody else actually sets at, to be honest.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, and to be honest, it is. And I also asked Justin the other day if they put them back to the percentage they were at, like 90. What was it, 98?
98, yeah.
Like pop up while ago. Sean, he said they went from 98 to 92. I don't know how much that hurts them, and so I asked Justin, and he said about 2 to 3 pounds. Would that help them get back to where they need to be? I don't know, because they go off a linear curve. I don't know exactly how that works. Like, the only power adder I've ever used is ProCharger. I never had nitrous on anything. My Chevelle is ProCharger. My Mustang, South 40 Mustang is ProCharger. Like, everything I've ever done is just ProCharger. So I'm scared to, mess with bottles and timing and all that shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I know there's different screw blowers, the C and the D rotor and stuff, and there's really no discrepancy on the rules between a C and a D. So, I don't know how they're all going to get wrapped up in a F4 versus F3 or whatever. But I do like that F4X 136. It's a bad motherfucker.
For sure. I agree with that. There's one more topic I wanted to ask you about, Damon, before we get to a couple of questions from the fans, if you like. So I feel like most of the fans, I'd say, have been pretty confused about the whole format and points and who the champion is, basically since the beginning. And it's all coming out in the last week or two now that we're talking about the championships, right? It's just all getting blurted out. Nobody understands nothing. I've known, you guys have known, like, the grade A champion is your individual champion. We've known that since, race number 1 or whatever. There's been lots of talk about how in the past the grade A, the invitational champion was always like the main event guy. It was like the top guy, the invitational. Now it changed this year. What are your thoughts about that, as far as, like, what do you feel about that? Obviously, you are the invitational points leader right now. Last year they were combined. Grade 8 and invitation were combined to get your champion. This year it's just the grade 8. What are your thoughts about that? Did you like that? That's the individual champion. And
I don't like it.
what I want to know what your opinion is. What's harder to win, an invitation this year or a grade 8 event?
I would have to say, hands down, the Invitational is harder to win. Me and Sean had this talk after he made the finals somewhere, and he didn't. And Nate beat him. No, it wasn't Nate. I can't remember who beat him then. We were at US 42. It was the race before US 42, and he lost, I think, in the finals. We talked about how devastating that was. Now, I've won a grade 8, and I've won an Invitational, and there is hands down no feeling like winning an Invitational. So I would have to say the bigger, badder race, the harder one to win. You got to go 5 rounds to win it. And just mentally, it's more taxing. I'm not trying to take anything away from Kai. He deserved to win that grade 8 championship. I will say it freaking sucks that you win the Invitational or you finish number 1, whether it's me or Nate. I think we're the only two that can actually win it. I think Ryan could tie me or something. But
Yeah, you can
whether it's
tie
me
you.
or Nate, it really freaking sucks that somebody ain't gonna win a big fat check for being number one in invitational points when everybody knows that that's the pinnacle, where everybody wants to be. I hope if it comes my way and I can make it happen and we do perform well at Ennis, that it comes with maybe a few sponsors or
Yeah.
some parts thrown my way or something. We prove that we can do a lot with a little, but damn, it's hard. But yeah, I don't like it, but I came into this deal not exactly knowing where we were going to stand. So it's hard for me to really gripe from the first to the end. I heard people kind of bitching that somebody in the grade 8 would win that $100,000, but he's deserving of it. I'll say that, not just because he's my captain. He's raced hard all year. It's hard to stay in the grade 8. You know what I mean? Like you've got to show up. And I understand what they did. They want you racing hard both nights. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they don't want you to just focus on the grade 8 or focus on the team deal. When you show up and you pay your money to sit in them stands or stand in VIP or whatever, you want to see a performance both nights out of those guys. And how they had it structured was a good way to get people to really try to show up and perform both nights. Naturally, that's just what me and my crew are going to do, just because we're trying to establish ourselves into this deal, make some waves, and I felt like we did that. We had all the opportunity in the world to make it happen in the grade 8. I've been there since the third race, which was second race for points. It's just get it done, man. It's been some little something always on a Friday night, and it would sound like I'm hating on them because I don't agree with it, but to be honest, I feel like something should be given to both of them. You know what I mean? Whether it's me or Nate or who the hell ever that raced his ass off Saturday night and nailed down that number one spot. So, or a new trailer, stacker, total, I don't know. Shit.
You definitely use that out there.
Fucking some parts coupons or something. But anyway, it is what it is.
Hey, well, let's hope, man. I think the winner of each is definitely deserving. I would agree with you on that, man.
Yeah.
Nate says that he could use a new trailer too.
Nate,
So
yeah, I've seen that one of his, but that one, I mean, he got another one, but that one before was fucked up. I felt bad, dude.
if you want, Dane, we'll take a couple questions from the chat box. I know there's been questions throughout the night, but
no other drivers. I don't want to hear them pity patter bullshit. I hear it all the time. So other drivers can keep it.
Johnny Boucher, I think it's Bobby's brother. Are you working on getting a spare motor?
So I called. I thought, man, I really need a spare motor. So we called Chuck Newton. We asked him about a block. He said they're still the same price and they're 20 weeks out. So I said, shit, I'm probably not going to get a fucking spare block. So I've been working on spare parts. Matt and the guys at MBE do have a fresh set of heads built for me for this combination. What people don't know is I kind of took a chance along with them to run this. So when I say I don't know if my combination can compete with these guys, it's because this is the first time these heads have ever been put on a blower motor. Like he does NA and nitrous with them. I told him what I wanted to do, so he's like, well, I can do this and try to make them accommodate a blower. And here we are. Like we haven't changed anything on them other than valve springs and valves and guides and shit like that. He's freshened them up for me twice now, but I have no spare heads. But I have spare heads now, and I've got quite a few of like every now and then if I win an event or something, I'll put that money back into the program as far as buying spare parts and whatnot. So I've got a smorgasbord in my little trailer of engine parts, but no spare motor. And I'm not quite sure where I would put the son of a bitch if I had it. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to have one. I'm gonna have to have Craig start driving. Just put the key in.
Someone's gonna sponsor you a new trailer, Damon. You're gonna win that
I don't know how that
invitational.
We'll see.
I saw a question. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I picked, like, when me and Jay got together, he's like, "What would you want and how would you do it?" And pretty much I was running out of Dave's that whole last year, and we basically copied exactly how Dave's was laid out to build this one. But you start getting so much crap in here from being on the road 8 weeks in a row or however that and you don't want to like overdo it, but that thing is stacked from the bottom to the very top of the cabinets just with stuff. And I don't know if it, holy crap, it's wild. But yeah, I hate to say that I need a bigger, better trailer. It's a great trailer. It's just we're already outgrowing it. And if we get an engine, I literally don't have anywhere to put it. So I'm gonna have to figure something out.
Right.
Back at Dean's Kia. That's right, Richard. That's so much look good saying back at Dean's Kia.
Sean Presley wants to know if you ever going to build a new car or think about it. I know it's kind of like a common No Prep Kings theme now. Now that you're involved in No Prep Kings heavily, seems like some of the guys build new cars every couple of years.
So
you've had Rogue for a long time.
Yeah, we've raced Rogue for 4 seasons now, or 5 seasons, maybe 5. My initial, if I build an MPK car, it was going to be a straight up replica of Dumpling. Then Monza came out with his, and that tells you how sexy it could be, because that car is absolutely gorgeous. But I don't know because of how well Rogue works. Like, it's been on kind of, which they scraped one track. Hold on. They scraped one track and Rogue flew down that thing. Then they prepped one track, or whatever. It's sticky, it's glue. They Steel Alabama was insanely sticky, and Rogue performed well, great there. The only thing I could put Rogue on a diet for sure. There's no titanium and there's no carbon on that car anywhere other than the inside of it. I've got a lot of upgrades that I could do to Rogue to get it setting where I want to. Like, I run it the way it is with 0 ballast in it. Like, it sets the way that car sets. Wow. Because one, I'm trying to not put as much weight. I'm already over on weight, but and to be honest, when we scaled it, I thought, that might work. You know what I mean? We go out and test it and it works. So if anything, I might hang a puck on the nose or something, or in the middle of the car or something. But everywhere we took that thing, it's worked like a champ. She's performed flawlessly pretty much all season, other than little hiccups mechanically here and there. So my very first car was a 68 Camaro. So I'm kind of prone to that. I know everybody goes, "Oh, another Camaro, oh, another Camaro." But to be honest, I'm kind of biased to them because that was what my dad bought me when I was 13 years old. So not exactly that one. I let it go a while back, but yeah, I love me a Camaro. But if I did, it would probably be another Chevelle. I'd probably build a No Prep Kings purpose-built Chevelle. I love those cars.
Me as well. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of comments here about if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. We ran the dog shit out of that car and she's held up so well. Like, it's insane. Mark does the tweak, does his tweaks on it. And, that's another thing, like, as you asked me about how my success comes with it or whatever, it's just having faith in those guys too. I can look at Craig and ask him a question and I know the answer without even hardly ever speaking half the time, just by his demeanor, whether it's hurt or something ain't right or it's going to be fast or something. And Mark, I've never let go of the button. He can make a bar swing, chassis, change or whatever, and I've never let go of the button, worried that it wasn't going to do something crazy. So that's
Mhm.
worth that's worth so much to you. So at the moment, no, I wouldn't consider. I thought about a couple of different paint options and stuff like that, but I can't get too far. I can't get too far away from what it is now. I love it.
Yeah, I was going to ask another question from Tim, but it looks like Lacey answered it already for you.
What you
Tim wanted to know how does it feel to be hurting all those Hemi feelings.
Yeah, yeah. When you come into this thing going, I don't know if I can compete with the Newmans and the Pro Lines and all that stuff. It's not that you're scared. It's just like, damn, I just threw a shitload of money at this thing, and is it even going to be competitive? That's the crazy thing. And then you get out there and you start outrunning. You outrun one or you outrun two, and then it starts going. Yeah, it's really an amazing feeling because of the people that I have around me that do it. Gerald Brand at Brand Racing Engines is a one-man shop. He's worked on a lot of people's stuff for a long time. Chief, Sean, Dave's, Shane that had the Blackbird Vega, Jeremy. He's built them a lot of engines and did a lot of cool shit. And then the other day I walked through Proline whenever I go, see what's up with Sean and Bowman and them over there. And I look at that place and I go, this is what we're competing with. Like it's a fucking full blown facility of horsepower, to be honest. It's amazing. But it took me so long to build. I can't just cut a check for 100,000 or 110, 12. Yeah, I've looked into them. $112,000 for something that I had to, get some help with from South 40 on the block. Then I had to save my money and do the crank and the rods and the pistons. Then I'd buy something else. And Matt and them help me with the heads and shit. Like, so it fits me better, and I take care of it, and Craig takes care of it, Mark takes care of it, and Joe takes care of it. It's just been one of them things that you didn't quite see coming. We didn't know either. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in, because not that we're trying to rub it in to a lot of those guys, but it's just something we're proud of because we know how fast those combinations are. We've seen how dominant they are. And it's been amazing, to be honest, to be able to race with them or, beat their ass over and over and over a few times. So like I said, it's not bragging or boasting. It's a pride thing.
Yeah, for sure. There was one more question, Damon. Robert had it. It said, after running a full season, what is the main thing you've learned that will help you for next year's No Prep Games?
I feel like it's one of those. I feel like it's probably the thing about not getting caught up in what everybody else is doing. I feel like that's paid off huge for us. If that's something I've kind of learned over time, is like, is that kind of what he's asking? Like, what do I think that helps me?
Yeah, like what have you learned this year that maybe something you didn't expect? Now you can use it, or have been using it now. You can use it for next year.
Just kind of keep our eye on the prize, like not get caught. Okay, so use the team thing. So many people got wrapped up in holy shit, we're not on NOLA, or we're not on 405, or we're not on this. I use that as it's our time to shine kind of a deal. You know what I mean? Like I said, nobody's really came into this thing and made a splash right out of the gate. We knew some people would be fast here and there, but since then you see these rookie, it took Justin a little while to kind of get his feet under him and do a lot of big things, but he was noticeable right out of the gate. And that was one thing that I wanted to do, is kind of keep myself Huh? Oh, all right. I'll see you in a little bit. Sorry.
You're good.
She's going to bed. Keeping our focus on us and not getting involved in all the bullshit or the the rules or whatever. When Sam or whoever, the rule committee or whoever wants to make a change, they'll make a change. People love getting in the comments or getting in my messages or whatever and saying, well, they're going to tax weight on you. What are you going to do? Probably put weight on the car and figure out how to make it fucking fast. That's what I plan to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of how I take on just about anything. Like focus on me, myself, what we're doing. If they want my input, I'll give it to you. But other than that, that's what I've kind of learned that's helped me the most is just keeping to myself, focusing on my team, and cashing them checks. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. Maybe you got one more. Maybe you got one more this 2 weeks, man, in Texas.
One more.
Um,
I want
hey, man,
it.
I want to.
We're hungry, and that's one thing that really stands out. What's crazy is I get into a season where Nate gets in. Nate was he was a first round pick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Cody?
Yeah. First round.
I mean, he
pick,
kind of
yeah.
came in with a big hammer, and everybody knew it, and it just happens to be the same season that we're kind of starting out, and other than him, I just don't see a whole lot of people coming in, like I said, doing a whole lot, and especially with a little, because I didn't want to get in a bunch of debt and shit like that, trying to chase this thing or get into it. And I've seen people do it over and over and over, and that scares me, to be honest. Like I've got family to feed and roof over their head and all that stuff. So I've seen it completely engulf people to the point where they were willing to get themselves in trouble to chase it. And I just can't do that. And the only other way to stay a part of it is win races. And like I said before, we race for survival, and it shows, and it's in the results.
Yep. Yeah. That's the thing right there. If you keep winning, keep being successful, keep listening to Russell when it comes to social media, keep building your social media. That's something that I'm glad to see you taking advantage of it, man. Because some of those guys, a lot of you guys should, on the No Prep King circuit, have the opportunity to take advantage of that, and some don't. And I'm glad to see, man, your social media has grown a lot, since probably like a year and a half ago. So that's good to see, man. That'll help you get you some sponsors, win races.
Between that,
it's good to see.
The merchandise is a big thing. We get hit up a lot. We do some different things. Lacey's done a really good job kind of thinking outside of the box and not just doing your typical car shirt, just like the Rogue BBC. That's probably the most talked about engine platform in the racing industry right now. I mean, as far as I can tell, is some little big block Chevy built in Mustang, Oklahoma, and just been really getting into some people's feelings. So to bring out a shirt like that, or we've got a couple other things that we're working on. That way, when this thing airs, we can kind of capitalize on. You got to think about all that kind of stuff, and it's hard because Russell said it today. Like Damon is a racer first, and then everything else kind of follows. So I need those people around me to kind of think outside the box about the social media, the marketing, the the merchandise and stuff, because all I really give a shit about is winning those races. And you gotta have those people around you that think about the other things that you need to be capitalizing on at this position.
Yep, 100%, man. You hit it right on the head, man. You need to be concentrating on racing, and you got to put good people around you to get all the other stuff done.
If we ain't winning, ain't nobody gonna be talking about us. You know what I mean? Especially coming
That's true.
doing anything. So, that's what it boils down to.
Right. Yep, you're 100% right. Well, hey, man. First off, thank you so much for coming on again and talking with me. I think this is your third time coming on the Stat Guy Show, so I really appreciate it, man. I'm so happy for you. It's exciting to see you do so well this year. Like there's one race left to cap off this amazing rookie season. So I wish you the best of luck. I'll be there in Ennis. I'll come say hi to you. But again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for the fans for coming to watch.
Thank you, guys.
It's been a good night. Thank you, Damon.
I appreciate you and what your coverage, the support you give to us. Like it means a lot to us. I don't know if others have told you, but it does. It helps us out all around. So, like I said, we appreciate it and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
You bet.
Have a good night. See you, man.
See you, buddy.